Hello. My name is Chris, and I've been having these issues with my quad here, actually with the Naza. This is a brand new Naza, and here's a GPS unit. As you can see, the white arms here are the front of the craft, so I do have the GPS pointed the correct way. It's towards the front of the craft. As with the Naza, that is also pointed the correct way. So the connections here on the Naza are as follows. I have, let me turn on my image stabilization control. Motor 1 is the whole way to the right of the screen. Motor 2 is M2, motor 3, motor 4. As far as the actual motors go, I have them motor 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how they're all laid out. So I've taken off this front panel, or this top panel, just so you can see what I've done. I followed the manual strictly, and so as far as here on the back side, I have it set up properly also, but ailerons, elevator, throttle, rudder, and so on. And when I flip all the switches, I mean, everything works properly. I've flown this. The reason this is still hooked up is I have been flying this in manual mode. Yes, I'm proficient enough to fly in manual mode before anyone knocks me that I shouldn't be flying it at all. I want to be able to use the unit still because I still need to get out there. But anyway, so that's the deal. Okay, so as far as the question goes, do I have the GPS plugged in properly? Here on the GPS plug, there's obviously these little notches that are on the bottom side. There's none on the top. It's flush, it's flat. And looking at the connector back here, excuse me, I just got stopped in the middle of my recording because I got brand new tires for the motorcycle. Okay, moving back, looking here at where the GPS is supposed to be plugged in, from what I've gathered from the manual, is obviously EXP, this top right port that is the only blank port left after everything else is plugged in. So, excuse me here, I grabbed the plug right here, and I am with the tabs facing down. I plug that in to this port. I need two hands here. Give me a second. So that is how I have the GPS module plugged in to the DJI Naza. Okay, I had come across some people talking in a thread saying that these ferrite magnets that are used for signal coming here to my ESCs, they were saying that they could be the interference. So I made sure I put on some other ESCs temporarily, and I still got the exact same issues. So I went ahead, because these are the ESCs I prefer to use, I put these back on the quad since I didn't get any change from those. The motors I've swapped out completely. I have a bunch of extras. So yeah, before you knock me on the blades, like I said, I just flew this morning. Yes, it flies fine in manual mode. On this particular Naza, actually flies just fine in attitude mode, other than the fact that the compass, or the calibration compass, isn't set. It can't be set. I'm having all sorts of issues with that. So occasionally it yaws off and it doesn't hold position very well, but it does everything else that attitude mode should do just fine. When I flick the light, or I flick the controller over in GPS mode, I still get the exact same amber flashing light, not the green light that I get in attitude mode. So I get the same light for both GPS and attitude mode. Moving on, I am using the Turnigy 3S 3300 milliamp battery. My motors, everything's rated just fine with these, and I know the Nazas work fine with 3S batteries. Coming down to the controller, I'm using a Turnigy ER9X, and I have it all mapped out properly for the 450 here. Let me set this camera up on the tripod, and I'll be able to further show you what else is going on. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I have the transmitter already powered on here. I have it switched down in manual mode. Everything else is set up. I'm going to go ahead and plug in the Naza here, and you can go ahead and look at the little LED. So I've looked at the lights. The lights are proper right now for this being set up properly as far as it starting. So here on my controller, I'm going to go ahead and switch from manual to attitude mode, and you see the light confirming that. I'll switch from attitude mode to GPS. I get the exact same light. When I'm plugged into the software, and I'll show you that in a minute, the software also does, it is showing that I'm in GPS mode, so I don't have this switch. You can see my pot's right here. So, and yes, I have those lights on the front also turn on when it's in attitude and GPS mode. So now I'll try to quickly calibrate it, and I'll give you a calibration. Alright, now I have everything plugged in, and I'm going to try to do the Naza dance. So I'm going to start it up here in GPS mode and flick it down to manual back up 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can see I get the amber light confirming that it's ready for calibration. The white arms are faced this way, right? The front of the craft. So I'm going to spin it to the right slowly till I get the green light. Now, I've been told many different ways to do the second rotation. The one that seems most popular for people is to turn the craft to the right and rotate it 360 degrees, like so. And I get the flashing light. Now, I've tried this in probably 10 different locations, from out in front of my house in the middle of the road to a middle of a wide open cornfield to school parks and in my office, all sorts of places. So, and I've always made sure that the remote is as far away as possible. The transmitter. I've also tried putting, mounting the GPS in different places, mounting the battery to the arm. Not that I fly like that, but just to get any electronic interference away from the Naza unit. No, nothing's worked. I've even moved the Naza on the top plate, the battery on the bottom plate, and so on. So I'm not sure exactly what the issue is, but the other Naza, I have two Nazas. The other Naza won't start flashing red. It'll just stay solid green. Doesn't matter how many times you rotate it or what angle you rotate it, whether it's nose down, left, right, back down. It will always stay green until you flick it out of GPS mode and back in, or from manual back into manual. So, continual problems. So let's go look at the computer. Alright, now I'm going to move on and I will start hooking this up to the computer. So what I'm going to do is I'll start by turning on my transmitter here. It's set to manual mode right now. And then I'll go ahead and power on the Naza. You see the little LED here. 4 green beeps. Confirmed. And now I'll plug the Naza into the computer system. And you see I get a green light. That's confirming that it's plugged onto the computer properly. So looking at the computer here, I'll go into the DJI software, and you see that here, I'll go read for the settings I have on it. This is, I have this set up to -8 centimeters on the y-axis and -10 centimeters on the z-axis, because I do have it on the little Naza boom. Going over to motor mount, the quad's in X The front arms or the white arms are the front. I kept that in recommended for the idle speed. And you can see my transmitter here actually is working fine. There's my rudder right, rudder left, ailerons left, ailerons right, elevator down, elevator up, throttle down, throttle up. And I also have these two pots up top set to X1 and X2. And just to confirm that my control mode switch is working, down, like I said, is in manual mode. This is automatic, or automatic ATT mode in the middle, and then I go up to GPS. This is my fail-safe button, so obviously it doesn't matter what mode I'm in, it'll switch to fail-safe. Okay, moving on, we know it's calibrated right, receiver type traditional, cutoff type is intelligent. I go over here to autopilot. I'm just leaving everything set to 100. I haven't played with any of these basic parameters yet. I have the controller set up the way I want it. I figure once I get ATT and GPS mode working properly, then I shouldn't have any problems. But here I have absolutely no access to turn on any of the enhanced fail-safe methods or the intelligent orientation control. I don't know what the deal is. Like I showed you, I plugged in the Naza properly, I've checked all the magnetic fields, everything that I covered before, but this doesn't matter what I do, doesn't show up. So I've tried going up here to calibration, and just for giggles, I've calibrated it, and when you do to check IMU status, it says the process can be skipped, so it doesn't allow me to. So I've upgraded the firmware, it's up to date, same with the software. I've touched disabled all nub once, but I figured that wasn't something that needed to be done. I don't even know what it does personally, but so hopping back in here, I have my gimbal turned off, and voltage meter right now is on. It's set to my 3S lipos, and yeah, so that's not nearly as important. But so this is what I'm seeing on the computer end of things, and I've tried when I plug in the Naza to the computer or plug it in. I initially will start my transmitter off in GPS. I've tried it in ATT mode, in manual mode, in fail-safe mode. I've tried all these different modes, so then I know that, just to try my options, but I can't figure it out. So if you have any idea something that I'm doing wrong, maybe something I have wrong set up here on the transmitter or on the copter side of things, please help me out. I'm having so many issues with this. And like I said, I have 2 Naza units and 2 GPS units, and I've tried them with different motor and ESC combinations and different mounting options, and spent many hours searching on YouTube videos and blogs, and here on RC groups. I'm having all sorts of problems. So if you have any help, either shoot me a video response with what I can do different, or just shoot me a message here on this video, or hop over to RC groups where I have this posted in the Quad Electronics forum, and help me out, please. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and I hope this helps.